Every day is special, especially this one. You're watching Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner, here with my co-host, Emily Compagno. Joining us today, Kennedy, Jackie DeAngelis, and for the very first time, Enes Kanter Freedom. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to have a great hour.
I know, I'm excited. I'm really excited.
All right, let's do it.
Really
We're going to begin with the growing security concerns about TikTok and the push to crack down on that popular app. Nearly a dozen states have already banned TikTok on government devices. And while they are all led by Republican governors, people are starting to take notice, just in general. The Senate just passed a similar bill on the national level, and it got bipartisan support. Still, some in the media are framing it only as a Republican issue.
Republican lawmakers, primarily, are using TikTok as the face of the Chinese government. And so to show to their constituents, which is very popular right now, to have a hard stance on China, to show to their constituents that they're taking this hardline stance, they are basically saying we want to ban TikTok and using this as a vehicle to deliver that message to their base.
Senator Marco Rubio trashed that reporting as misleading. He tweeted this: "This isn't a GOP-led TikTok ban craze. It's over 3 years of effort that has always been bipartisan. But CNN's obsession with bashing Republicans is so ingrained in their culture, their journalists reflexively defend everyone. We are against even the Communist Party of China." So breaking news right now. You sat down and you showed me the screen on your phone.
I did.
TikTok just banned you. Was it because you were coming on Outnumbered?
Actually, no, probably not. But no, I got this. So I try to. So when I had a conversation with one of my friends from Congress, and like, listen, it's like you're talking about things that are happening in China. Do not download the TikTok on your phone. So obviously I had a second phone. The reason I downloaded obviously TikTok, I was posting things about like Tibetans and Hong Kongers and Uyghur people, and some of the things that are happening.
People who don't have a voice.
Exactly. So that's why just this morning I got this, email. It says, due to multiple community guideline violations, you are temporarily prevented from posting. See details in your app notifications. And actually, it's right there.
Well, yeah, it's a completely blank page with the TikTok little.
So I cannot believe that we're just talking about this topic, and I got this email from them. But no, it's definitely unbelievable.
You do a lot to get the words on your shirt into the bloodstream of the world. Silence is violence. Mm-hmm. Why is TikTok particularly so sensitive, do you think, about your words?
Because I talk about the truth of what, CCP is doing. I talk about, first of all, I never talk about politics. I talk about the human rights violations that are over there. I talk about, what Tibetans are going through, Hong Kongers, what Taiwanese people are going through, what Nike is doing. I talk about the slave labor, organ harvesting. I talk about the forced sterilization and abortion. And obviously that really bothers them. And I posted on TikTok. That's why they hate that. That's why I got this email this morning. All
right, well, I'm glad you had more than one phone.
Of course, for sure. That was like the important thing that my friend in Congress told me, get your second phone.
Well, first of all, Kennedy, he has friends in Congress now.
Yes.
And I would have to imagine that for the average American, there is much hope with Elon Musk taking over a platform. We're going to need more oversight than Elon Musk.
Yes, and a couple weeks ago I posited that maybe Elon Musk should buy China, and then he could take over TikTok, because that would be the only way it could happen. But I have to say, I'm really happy to be on the couch with Enes. Enes is my friend. He has done more with his shoes to confront China than this administration has in 2 years. And what they have been complicit in, and the things that Enes bravely brings up. And he knows that his family is at risk, his career is at risk, he has lost friends, but he has done so much in the name of freedom. And, it's like, I want to listen to what he has to say, because a lot of what we do, it's words. What he does, it's action, and it's dangerous, and it is real. And, the way he speaks truth to power, we're very concerned about TikTok. We should also be concerned about our own government, which has so many agencies and so many apparatuses that spy on us every single day. So I'm fine with congressional action there, as long as it's evenly meted out to the post office, the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, and everyone else who has eyeballs on everything we do.
Preach that. That's a lot. Jackie.
Actually, this is an issue that I'm very passionate about, because for a long time, the apps that I did have on my phone, Facebook, Instagram, people have Alexa in their house. I don't have any of that, because you would do a Google search, you want to buy something, you don't even speak it out loud, and all of a sudden your phone is showing you ads for that very product, right? So I never put TikTok on my phone. And what I want, this to bring it back to the top, this is bipartisan, first of all. This is an issue that impacts everybody, China spying on us. But what I want is for people to be more educated about it. I'm glad the government is doing something, but I wish parents and kids would understand what's behind it. I hope there's no backlash that we're trying to move in this direction. I hope they understand why we're trying to move in this direction. You know what I mean?
Well, it sounds like you know a few teenagers.
I do. and they like TikTok, and that's part of the problem, and that's why it's gained so much popularity. But parents have to explain to their kids that technology has a dark side, and they need to be aware of that, especially as they're growing up in this environment.
You know who I hope will understand it? Because I'm that geek who watches C-SPAN hearings. And I get a little concerned that sometimes, not all lawmakers, but some of them on Capitol Hill aren't as up to speed as they need to be to talk about these important issues with regard to technology and big tech, so on and so forth. Very basic questions being asked. And I just want to make sure that we treat this like the national security risk that it is.
With bipartisan effects, to Jackie's point, it's just like debt. It's an American issue. It's not a partisan issue. Enes, I echo everything that Kennedy said. We are so honored to have you on the couch with us today, truly. I consider you a lighthouse in that darkness of tech. And as your role as a lighthouse, what would you say you are hearing with so many people that come to you with their stories and their experiences? We know that in China, passed in 2017, it is law that you must cooperate with the CCP and transfer data to them as a company and as a person. So when you say you focus on the human rights issues, it's so admirable and human, but it's intertwined politically there because the CCP is who is engaging in those violations. So what are your experiences in that department?
So, you know, whenever I had a conversation with someone from the Xinjiang area, they said, well, that the Chinese government had to make them download this app on their phone. And they listen that every word that they're saying. And if they're saying anything against the Chinese government, it gives you like a minus point.
Whoa.
And say I have a lot of minus points, right? And if I come close to you, your phone started to ring and say, stay away from this guy. You know, so it just, so that is one of my friend in Xinjiang area told me about it, and I was just shocked. I'm like, this is just crazy. And I'm not even talking about all the surveillance cameras that they're doing. They're watching literally everything that these people are doing, and it's just, and it's, that's only just one area. There are so many other areas that people are literally just scared to say anything. But the last only just 2 weeks, I see this white page protesters are protesting their government and saying enough is enough. We want our freedom, we want our free speech, and it just gives me so much hope, because whenever I see these unshakable regimes are being shaken by their very own core, that gives me hope for the future.
You know what about your former NBA colleagues in this TikTok concept? Do many of them or some of them feel the same way you do and see the light and yet still feel constrained with how honest they can be about it?
You know, they don't really care, because every like that they earn extra money. You know, so for them, they know what's going on and they're very educated. If they say they don't know enough about it, that's 100% lie. They know about it, but just because of every post that they put out there, they give so much likes, and every likes is like another $1 or whatever for them. They don't care about it.
You know, what you said about the silence that people were expressing with those blank pieces of paper. We see that around the world in different ways, and we do have to support it. I remember I turned on Fox and Friends the morning that was happening, and all the anchors had white pieces of paper. It's important for the world with our big megaphone and freedom, like what you're doing, to put those messages out there for the people on the ground, and what even could be a revolution for women in Iran if it gets enough support and attention. So there is a lot for us to do, and you are leading the way. So we appreciate you being a big voice on Outnumbered today.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.